And next, Tom McFarland is going to lead us in some table topics and a roast. Now, Tom, it's going to be on Joan's life. We can't make it too long. 10 to 15 minutes, yeah, keep it to 10 to 15. Can't do the whole life of Joan Hartman. Okay? Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, are we having fun yet tonight?
Oh, yes.
Birthday, Joan, what a deal. Let's call this little segment here, because we're going to have a little followers. We're going to call ourselves the Munchmen and the Dustmans. And I am the Dustman. Happy 65th birthday. Wow. Wow, you've come a long, did I say long way? Geez, I'll tell you one thing. It's so great. Think how wonderful this is. You turn 65 today. You're eligible for Medicare. Yes. You're eligible for retirement. Just think about it. Just think that this is the first day for the rest of your savings. Actually, I talked to Steve a little bit. He brought a cake here. It's a little small cake. Actually, we ordered a cake that could handle 65 candles. The problem with the cake was it looked like a coffin. It was so big. And when we moved it in here, all the residents here would have a stampede to the door. 65 candles. We would lit the 65 candles, my God. They would have thought it was a runway for Mitchell Field. It was so bright. You talked about a senior moment. It's much more than a moment. It's lingering death all the time. You talk to see elevators. She wants to get an elevator for the rest of her life. The only elevator you're going to see is the one over at Frederick Hospital. I'll tell you, but really when you think about it, are you going to retire?
Yeah, for a while.
Okay, I was going to say 65 retirement's ridiculous. I can remember when I was 65. No kidding. I still had cookies. Let's get and have a few of your fellow people that really adore you get up and say a few things. Now, the first person I want to introduce tonight, he actually gave me kind of a lesson to how to use his language, okay? And straight from Monterey, Mexico, is John Monteyango!
Thank you so much. You know, I want to share something real quick as I talk about Joan. When I first joined Toastmasters, it took me a couple of times to join because I knew how difficult and challenging it was going to be. Do you know why? All you have to do is look at me, and now you know why it's going to be difficult. But as I continued to join and do it, all the people that were in the Alice Chambers were very nice. They were very quiet. They left me alone. Let me just, you know, grow in my own pace. You know, all of a sudden, somebody tells me that I have the inkling of a little bit of a talent. And all of a sudden, somebody decides to start being pushy, picky, forceful, and just absolutely, but you know what? She's such a wonderful person. She has warm eyes, soft voice. It's just her bewitching method of doing this and volunteering for things you don't want to do whatsoever. It started with the international contest. I decided to do table topics. I just thought it was a speech. Next thing you know, I compete against one other person, I win, then I have to go over to the summit and join a contest. And the ugliest part of it is that I placed. 3rd place. It was horrible. After that, I did another speech, the sandwich speech. Sandwich technique, no problem. The second that I did it, she comes along and says, congratulations, you're due at West Alice Library. You can do a sandwich technique for Evaluation University. Okay, thank you very much. Next you know, there I was again. Ever since then, okay, She also actually has a sidekick, okay? I have to expose her. Tabby Wood. She comes up here, ends the meeting, asks for volunteers, then slowly doubles back as to where I'm sitting and gives me the bewitching eye as well. So in the end, I end up signing up for things. Now, all of a sudden, I'm being nominated for vice membership, and also I was forced to become a mentor. And I blame these two right here. They're double teaming me. They're double teaming me. We have another meeting where we have a conference. Guess who I'm carpooling with? These two. So if I don't come back normal, you know why. Thank you very much.
To talk to Joan's brother Bill tonight. He said, well, how was Joan in high school? He said, well, not so good. I said, how come? She said, well, she flunked history. My God, there wasn't that much to remember. Wow. Next on the agenda, I'm going to call up Alan Edge.
Well, it is a thrill to be here and celebrate Joan's 65th birthday. It's a little known fact that when people say it's a little known fact, that gives it credit. You don't even have to Google it. You just know it's real. It's a little known fact that Joan, in approaching her retirement, has saved up a great deal of money and bought a small parcel of land because she is going to become a dust mite wrangler. She's got the money, she's got the land, whatever, and she's going to hire out her dust mites. They have like dust mites for the blind, you know, for people, and attack dust mites that she's going to hire out to security firms. And the dust mites like Lassie, you know, you can say, dust mites, oh boy, go get help, go get help. And then the dust mite will come back and say, what happened? What did you say? What? You need my social security number? And my PIN number? Okay, girl, go get help. You know, so that's something she's been working on. She's been keeping it on the low key about that. Joan Hartman is also as John Mondolano. When you say his name, you got to say it like you're mad. Angry at somebody. You know, it's Mondolano. Stress release. That Joan is kind of slick. You know, she just just whisk by you. You don't even see her. You just whisk by her. She just did somebody just pass by me? And the next thing you know, you're running for the President of the United States of America. You're being vetted. All your secrets are coming out, and you're in the tabloids. So be careful. Good luck on your dust mite wrangling. She speaks fluent dust mite, and her accent's a little shaky, but other than that, she's pretty good. Joan.
You gotta watch it when you turn 65 because you'll laugh so hard, tears will run down your leg. Our next dust mites is none other than, are you ready? None other than Karen Januski.
Well, I'm here to tell you, I can tell you how Joan feels to be 65, because I was that a few years ago. But so she needs to know what's coming up down the pike as far as getting to be an old woman. Well, if you had a tattoo, Joan, it was here. It's down here. No, everything goes south now. And I shared a room with Joan in Vegas, and we had a great time. She took off in the morning. I didn't see her till late at night. So she was doing her thing. I didn't ask what her thing was, but you know, as single women, we just do our thing. But I was trying to find something that would really be appropriate for Joan, and I'm into Greek gifting. Now, this is something every woman can relate to, and I don't know if this is the right size, Joan, but this is for you.
really bad. Bad. No wonder to say bad. Next in their parade of dust mites, Tammy. Tammy Wood.
What can I say about our dear friend Joan? Many of you are here today because of her, and I think John let you in on our little secret. We feel that gift that Joan has, a very great gift of getting you to volunteer for things without you really having a choice. I don't think that's volunteering. I think we call it voluntold. I've been voluntold several times by Joan, and I thank her for it because it has gotten me beyond my comfort zone. I thank you for that. In the process, we've gone out to lunch and we've gone out to dinner, and I would say, I wouldn't suggest it with Joan. Last time she sent back the sushi because she said it was undercooked. But I do follow her motto nowadays after being around her for the last year and a half or so. If at first you don't succeed, maybe skydiving isn't for you. Thank you, Joan, for pushing me out of the plane.
Nice thing about being 65, I can tell you this, in Toastmasters, you will never be able to give another speech. It'll be all impromptu. Because I'll tell you, you won't be able to remember it. That's not actually true. You only forget the things that are important when the timing's up. And it's not really Alzheimer's disease, it's called Sometimer's disease. Moving right along, Rex Freeze.
Do everything wrong tonight. I had a lot to say, but I just couldn't remember any of these things, so I had to write them down. And first of all, you were talking about this cake, and this cake that Steve bought, and I know why he bought a cake, because the candles were too expensive for the cake. 65 candles is a lot. I don't think many of you knew that Joan had another job. I mean, a long time ago, she was so broke she couldn't even pay attention. Then she got a job as a bank teller, and it was a great job. She brought home $450,000 in a week. Well, I've got to tell a story because Joan is really great at bringing people out of their shell, as many people have told. She's such a virtuous person. She used to egg people on by making deviled eggs. And certainly that was one thing she did in the show on Speak TV. But one thing that I remember was buying Joan's car. Now, when Joan had her car stolen, she came to Toastmasters very upset, as anyone would be, having their car stolen right out of the parking lot. And said, fellow Toastmaster really needs some help. She turned to Steve Marks and she said, Steve, can you go out and help me look for a car? Steve said, sure, Joan, I'd be happy to do that. So they spent a whole day out looking for a car. Well, she didn't find one. So she turns to me and said, Rex, can you help me go out and look for a car? I said, well, sure, Joan, I'll help you. When? Tonight. Okay, we'll go out. So went out looking for a car. Pulled into this dealership and I said, well, Joan, look, before we go in there, we've got to have the strategy for your car. What's that? Well, I'm going to help you negotiate this price down. We're going to go out and look for some cars. We get about 3 or 4 or 5 cars that you like. Go out, make sure you test drive that car. And then when we come back, let me talk to that salesman, because I'm sure I can see you soon. I'm sure. Okay, all right. So we get out, and we start walking down these line of cars. And she gets down to about 4 or 5 cars. She says, this one. Okay. Well, almost as if being teleported out of the car, this salesman is right behind her. And he's got the keys. He says, you want to test drive it? Sure, okay, let me go grab the plate. So he runs off. I said, Joan, remember the strategy. Okay, so he comes back, she gets in the car, we're driving around the block. Well, it takes a long time to drive around the block because he's got to show all the things. Here's what turns on the windshield wipers and also cruise control on there and everything else. Well,
We get back in, we pull around, get into the drivers, into the parking lot, and next thing you know, the salesman's out of the car, and we're walking in, and Joan, remember the strategy, So walk in, and I said, well, Joan, you know, so I duck in the bathroom real fast. I swear, it wasn't in more than maybe a minute and a half. I came out, and there's Joan signing the paper. Now, I'm under my breath. What are you doing? You know, 2 expletives here and there. And she'd already sold the car. But you know what? I know I could have sold her or saved her some really serious money on that car. But she was happy. That salesman had done a job. He'd given her a great deal. He'd thrown in some car mats. Matching hubcaps. So she was happy. So you know what, Joan? That's a great thing. I'm glad you got your Toyota. It's a little dusty out there, I noticed. But I'm sure you'll enjoy it. It's the best.
Joan, you're in my little black book. I think you knew that already. I've known Joan for many, many years. When I was here at Dallas Chalmers Toastmasters, and she joined the club. And we go back quite a ways. Remember that day we spent together in the library? That one year? Well, it's enough said about that. But I remember when you were first here, and you didn't know what you were getting yourself into. You were just a shy little timid dust mite at that time. And I'm proud to be able to watch as you grew to be a self-confidence and really a courageous dust mite that you are now, ready to go off at anybody's mattress at any time. Yes. But my vague memories, because like I said, go back quite a few years. And before dust mites, Joan liked to talk about disgusting things. I don't know if those of us that was back there remember, I don't know where you got your topics from or where you did your reading from. I can't remember. My therapist has helped me to erase those from my memory. So I can't go back to what it was we talked about. But I should have known that you're about 65 because years back, you were VP of Education for one club, VP of Education for another club, area governor, starting a new business. Because every time that she signed up for something, she forgot about it when I was signing up for something else. Rich, I'm VP of Education for all these clubs. I need help. I said, don't answer the phone. Happy birthday, Joan. It's been a pleasure trip. I'm so proud to be here for you.
That this place is scary. This place is scary. Go out the back door. Watch for the guy with the blue walker. That concludes our table topics roast for this evening. I'd like to call back on our tremendous Toastmaster. Oh, sorry.
I'm sorry, it would be remiss for us to leave this portion without mentioning Joan's belly fat speech.
Well, I have enough for her.
Back to my therapist.
Yeah, it made the dust mite one seem kind of tame.
Okay.
Yeah, it was
Okay.
intense.
All right. What's the punchline?
There is no punchline.
Our Toastmaster.